Ben with Super Pump Podcast. I am super excited about the NFL playoffs, and I'm here to tell you today the one thing that's the difference between teams that are number one seeds and teams that are missing the playoffs. Let's go back a few years. 2021, 2022. These four teams had really bad years. All four last place. Texans 4-13, Seahawks 7-10, Broncos 7-10, and Browns 8-9. Like a lot of teams in the offseason, they decided to shake things up. The Texans and the Browns decided they were going to make a massive trade. The Texans had had some success with quarterback Deshaun Watson, but it just wasn't working out for off the field and on the field reasons. These two decided to partner up, and then the Seahawks and the Broncos decided to partner up and make a massive trade. Seahawks were ready to move off Russell Wilson, a quarterback who had won them their only Super Bowl, and the Broncos wanted to get back to the promised land. Here's how this whole trade went down. And it's kind of crazy. The Browns, after that 8-9 season, traded for Deshaun Watson and a 6th-round pick and gave up 3 firsts, a 3rd, and a 4th for that. Meanwhile, the Broncos went out and decided to get Russell Wilson. They traded for Wilson and a 4th-rounder, and look at the haul they gave up. Quarterback, tight end, defensive lineman, 1st-round pick, 2nd, and 5th. They arguably gave up way more than the Browns did. And do you know what the result was? It was 2 years of failure. The next year, with their new quarterbacks, the Browns went 7-10, another last place finish. And then in 2023-24, Watson only played 6 games. Meanwhile, the Broncos again finished last. They actually went worse. They went from 7-10 to 5-12, another last place finish. And then in 23-24, Wilson led them to a 7-8 record, but it was kind of fueled by the defense. It was almost in spite of him and not because of him. His PFF was around 20 out of 32 quarterbacks, somewhere in that 19 to 22 range. It wasn't working for either of these teams. There's a couple interesting things. All this haul of picks that went to the Texans fueled them into the playoffs this year, and this massive haul of picks is why the Seattle Seahawks are the number one seed this year, home field throughout the NFC playoffs, because they had the guts to move off their guy. Here's what I want to talk about today in these two organizations. Both realized 2 years in, those picks were a whiff. They had missed on those picks. Sometimes in business and organizations, when we whiff bad, it's hard because you got to eat it. And nobody wants to do that. 1, there's ego, but 2, there's a boatload of money. Basically, the Broncos decided, you know what? It hasn't worked. We're moving off Russell Wilson. Well, everybody said, you can't move off Russell Wilson. It's an $85 million dead cap hit. Nobody does that. Nobody had ever taken that big of a cap hit. The Broncos said, we're going to do it. We're going to roll up our sleeves and figure this thing out. They took the largest cap hit in NFL history, moved on, and do you know where they are this week? They are hosting the AFC playoffs as the number one seed 2 years after moving off this mistake. Meanwhile, the Cleveland Browns decided, we don't want to eat the cap hit. We're just going to keep rolling with Watson. Instead of eating $131 million to move off him, even now, they're refusing to do that. So the Browns continue to be in last place. So if we go back to these teams, the Seahawks, the Broncos, the Texans, all made moves. 2 of them made bad moves, moved off the moves. All are playoff teams. These 2 are number one seeds, and these guys are still sitting on the outside because their ego wouldn't let them make the change. The Browns continue to have no Super Bowls, 1 playoff win since '99, and in 2025, yet another last place finish, 5-12. Meanwhile, the Denver Broncos, 8 Super Bowl wins, 3 championships, and number one throughout the playoffs. So in your organization, when you screw up, eat the cost, move on, and you will create an organization that understands that there's humility in the leadership, but also a commitment to winning. I hope you enjoy the NFL playoffs as much as I do. If you like today's episode, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or for sure YouTube, where you can watch my pretty face and all the great video footage. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed today's show, I have 2 quick next steps for you. First, subscribe or follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. And second, jump on over to superpump.com to find out all the incredible ways we can help you launch your super pumped business. Keep well, and I'll see you next time.